This is my EATTY situations. Run your mouth. EATTY situations.
Yeah.
But man,
Well, I mean, actually, I like the legend already made.
EATTY situations.
I went back to grad school, so that's where I did some more acting. I did some more stage management and different things like that.
Okay. How was it meeting Stoppard?
Stoppard was, he was really cool. Lenny I got to know a lot better. Stoppard was, he was at UT speaking because they just bought all of his papers, and I was editor of a grad publication, and so so I said I arranged to interview him, and so he, you know, met him at his hotel and stuff, and he was very gracious and kind, and you know, we spent more time than I was supposed to do it, and it was just kind of this nice, fun, casual, flowing conversation. Later on, when I tried to set up a meeting with him to interview him for my dissertation / book, he's like, "No, that's yours. I'm not interested in doing it." And I saw him a few years ago in London after the latest Arcadia revival, and I just reintroduced myself. His son was in the show, and it's not like, "Oh, you've read a couple books? Oh, I need to drop my pizza box, take this photo." And then I go up to Tom and, you know, reintroduce myself, and I was like, "Yeah, I've read a couple books about you," and he's like, "Those are the only kind of books I don't read."
oh.
But he wasn't being mean or anything like that. And then I was like, "Yeah, I wrote an entire book about Arcadia." He's like, "Good God, an entire book about Arcadia? Why?"
Yeah.
You know, and stuff. And so he was like, "Oh, there's, you know, the academic writing." Whereas Romulus Lenny, he became a friend of mine, and I spent a week at his house, and you know, we got to know each other really well. And so he came down here for a show and different things, and so I got to speak at a couple of different things where Lenny was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, and so I was a main speaker with Austin Pendleton, Kathleen Chalfant, and there was one year, it was the Horton Foot Festival, and they were going to do a tribute speech and a keynote address, and I was going to do one speech, and August Wilson was going to do the other speech. I was like, you let August pick whatever he wants to do. I was like, holy, you know. And the thing, unfortunately, this is August Wilson died a month before.
05, right?
Yeah, it was 05, and this is, and actually, yeah, because Romulus was coming down for Cacciata. We were doing the world premiere of his thing, and while he was here is right when August Wilson died, and Romulus had become good friends with August, and so I mean I get to see how emotionally devastated he was by August's death, and you know, by that point, you know, and then 2 weeks later is when the Horton Foot Award was, that Rom was getting the award, and obviously August Wilson had passed. And what was nice for me is I had this really nice quotation that August Wilson had said about Romulus, and so I dovetailed that into the closing of my speech and stuff like that. And it was something that, you know, I could see, you know, Romulus just, you know, tearing up crying, but it was a way that I could incorporate August Wilson into paying tribute to Romulus and stuff like that.
Just hearing you talk a lot about London, being in London and places over there, gets me thinking of this theory I was talking to somebody about, because there's a lot of shows that we watch and things on TV and things where there's these phenomenal actors, like Walking Dead and whatchamacallit, and then they get in these interviews and you hear them and their accent comes and, you know, they're either British or they're, you know, they're not from over here.
Yeah.
So it's like I was talking to a friend, and he was the way he was telling me was he felt that a lot of American actors, they go into it trying to be famous, while a lot of British actors really study the art of theater, really fall in love with, you know, with acting, and then like that's why they get a lot of roles over here, because they're not in it for.
No, that's true. I mean, in general, that's the thing is, you know, that's why you know, I enjoy seeing theater in London, because there's people who, it is about the craft of acting. They're really dedicated to theater, and there's some that are really good theater performers that you haven't heard of unless they start to do film or television, and some of them then consciously make that decision to do it. Whereas the U.S., that always has been a danger of people who want to be a star. Yeah. And the thing is, and you can make a ton of money in TV or film, but it's tougher to make, you know, a good living as an actor. You can, and so like, but I've had people I know.
This is my